Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq, coming to you live from Consensus in Austin, Texas. Joining me for this segment, we have Andrew Wesie. He's co-founder and CTO of ChainLight. We're here to discuss ZK technology and security solutions in Web3. Andrew, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to TradeTalks.
It's a pleasure to be here.
You got it. Let's talk about ZK technology. What are some of the hidden risks? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, so zero knowledge is very new to crypto. It's only been over the past couple of years that it's really been integrated into a lot of the layer 2s and a lot of the other protocols. And because of that, we're still learning sort of how to secure it, because we don't really have the expertise that we have for Solidity or Ethereum, Bitcoin, etc. So we're still sort of learning the best ways to secure zero knowledge.
Zero knowledge technology isn't specific just to digital assets, though. It's used in other verticals as well, right?
Correct. However, when it's applied to digital assets, there's sort of been an evolution of the capabilities and technology. Almost every year, there's sort of a new way to do ZK that makes things faster, makes it better, makes it more private. And every time that there's a new evolution, there's a learning curve for it as well.
Well, that's always the challenge too when it comes to security and risk management of any kind of platform.
Yes.
So here's an interesting question: how can hackers keep Web3 safe?
So hackers, we separate hackers into both the white hats and the black hats.
Right.
So the black hats, they are going to spend as much time as they need in order to sort of accomplish their goal, usually to steal money. And so they will spend months 24/7, right, trying to get your money.
And they're well financed too.
And they're very well financed,
right.
Especially if you look at Nasdaq, which is part of North Korea. And it's just hard for white hats to maybe, secure every piece of code out there in the world.
Yeah, it's almost like when we talk about emerging technologies like AI, the good actors, the bad
Yes.
actors are using it, and you're kind of, as a CTO, you're stuck in the middle trying to figure out how to balance this all out.
Yeah.
How would you advise Web3 projects on tackling security issues?
Yeah, so Web3 should really learn from traditional cybersecurity.
Right.
In traditional cybersecurity, you think about security from the onset. So as soon as you start developing your product, you're thinking about, okay, how do we make this secure? And that sort of mindset of security first needs to be applied to Web3 as well. It's not really sufficient to launch your protocol, then get the audit, because at that point there's already assets at risk. So Web3, we really need to start with the security first, make sure we're building something that is secure, making sure that throughout the development process you have experts looking at it, make sure the code that you're writing is correct, and then afterwards you can launch it and get the awesome TVLs that we see.
See, and I think it's so interesting that you bring up learning from traditional businesses, if you will. I mean,
Yeah.
Again, with the technology background, with AI, even though AI is nothing new, but generative AI is now in the vernacular and so forth, so everybody's rushing to get product out there. You want to be the first to go to, you want to, show you have revenue lines and ARR and so forth, but there is that risk management function, there is a cybersecurity function, there is back testing that needs to be done, which in my mind, the cost of that might be more effective than just being first and then exposing yourself.
There's a little bit of a difference though between Web3 and Gen AI.
Right.
Web3, we have billions of dollars at risk, and one line of code going wrong, billions of dollars can be lost.
Right.
And with Gen AI, there's a lot of challenges there, but they don't really result in $1 billion being lost immediately. So I do think that security is, very much at the forefront for Web3, and there's a lot of other new developments, such as Gen AI, that are actually going to help with that security as well, which is awesome.
Yeah, I think it's so interesting with Web3 too, because the genesis of that was around owning your data and so forth, right? So I'm sure you're always thinking about data privacy and good, responsible use of data. I'm sure that's factored in as well, because that's really the ethos behind Web3, or one of the parts of it in terms of ownership of data.
In the ownership of data and also the decentralization of sort of authority, because there's been these issues where we've had hacks happen because there's a sort of central admin key that is leaked and then money's lost. Whereas if decentralization, which is supposed to be the ethos of Web3,
right.
If we did a little bit better job of actually incorporating that into our protocols from the beginning, I think we'll see fewer hacks than what we've been seeing recently. So.
I appreciate the insight, Andrew. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me from Consensus. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Marketing Reporter at Nasdaq.